I do want to say that I think we have had a really good relationship with China lately, and we're getting along with them very well. They've been very fair on our trade deal.
It's another exciting time at Comfort for Life. I bring to you a compilation of TikTok and Red Note videos for educational purposes. If you're new here, consider subscribing, and to my returning viewers, I love and appreciate you. Thank you so much for your amazing love. I came across this video on my For You page on TikTok once more from an American living in China, and it's interesting the conversation that he heard people from different countries having concerning the United States related to tariffs. Listen up and let me know what you think about this.
I'm at a resort right now, and I was just by the pool and I heard a couple of different people talking about America. And as an American who lives outside of America, I live in China, it was fascinating to listen to it. There was a Brit, there was an Australian, and there was a Pakistani. And they were talking about global trade and all the political stuff that's happening. And the Australian was just going on and on about how America used to be our biggest ally, and everything that Trump says now is like, you can never trust him. And then they were talking about China and how they have such a better business relationship with China now. Now they can trust them so much more. And the honest truth about all of this is, in the past 6 months, America's standing in the world has just totally imploded, to the point where people are on vacation in a pool talking about how they can't trust Americans anymore because we're unreliable, not good trading partners. And they were just laughing at how pathetic the political situation in America is. And that's something that you can't avoid. Like, whether you live and bury your head in the sand and think that we're projecting strength, it's just not true. Because somewhere in a resort, in a pool, 3 people from other countries, clearly educated, clearly businessmen of some kind, are just talking about how much of a joke we are. And this is true. I've seen this many, many times in the past 6 months, particularly, where very few people really trust American industry or trust American politics or anything anymore. And they're just moving on without us. And we're just a joke. They're laughing at us. And whether we believe it or not, or whether you believe it or not, it's true, because they're right over there talking about it. America's in a bad place, guys. Our image around the world is severely damaged to a point of potentially no return. And particularly in business, like, it doesn't take a long time to diminish business trust. And that's very, very clear. Whether you believe it or not, whether you want to believe it or not, it's true. They're all talking about us, and not in a good way.
Is China the bigger superpower now on the world stage? Are they taken more seriously than the United States?
The United States just standing by our word and being a dependable partner, right? One of the reasons people always want to do business with the United States is because we respect the rule of law. China is building its relationships around the world with countries that have been our allies forever. I love our country. I root for our country. I believe in our country today as much as I ever have. But make no mistake, China is getting more powerful and more strategic while we are putting on a show with no consistency.
Wow. So apparently the US is a trustworthy country to deal with. They don't lie. They are amazing and they are the best. This is a crock of shit. I don't need to explain why. You know. Number 2, apparently China's been hiding in the shadows, waiting for the US to mess up like they've been doing recently, and then they're going to start talking to all these allies. That's a big crock of bullshit. Let me explain why. China has been in the works planning this for decades and decades and decades. Before Xi, during the leader, his name was Hu Jintao, the president previously to Xi. Now, he even started all these collaborations and talks with Australia and all these other countries. It's not like China waits in the shadows. They've been doing it for years and years. The only reason why you hear about it now is once they achieve a goal, they'll announce it. Very, very different to the US.
I do want to say that I think we have had a really good relationship with China lately, and we're getting along with them very well. They've been very fair on our trade deal, honestly.
I know time has been crazy, but he's only been president for a little over 6 months. Think about this. February 1st, he escalated with China. March 3rd, he brought it up to 20%. April 2nd, he brought the tariffs up to 54%. April 7th, 104%. April 9th, up to 125%. Oh wait, later 145%. May 12th, they had the truth in Geneva, reduced it down to 30% and 10%. May 14th, suspending reciprocal tariffs down to 10%. June 4th, he says Xi is very hard to deal with. He accused Xi of breaking the Geneva Agreement. And if you really want to think about it, he says that the relationship has been great. It's only been maybe 20-something days. How's MAGA not see this? How's Republicans not see this? Are we going to say like I knew Biden's mind was like a little bit out. Like, yeah, he had his good times, but he majority of the time was like out there. But this man is pretty much the same shit.
Looks like Canada and Brazil are at the top of the list to find out what increased tariffs actually feel like. Why? Because they were given an extra 90 days to negotiate a fair deal, and they blew it. So now, on August 1st, Canada's getting slapped with 35% tariff, and Brazil 50%. This isn't random. This is what happens when you waste time, run your mouth, and play tough with the US. Trump made it clear, if you want to trade with America, come to the table with respect. Stop attacking the president's character. Stop gaming the system and start making fair deals. Because if you don't, you're getting a tariff, and then another one and another until you figure it out. Brazil tried to lecture us on democracy while putting Bolsonaro on trial for speaking out, and Canada failed to stop the flow of fentanyl, then cried foul when we pushed back. Sorry, but we don't owe anyone a free ride anymore. These tariffs aren't just economic, they're discipline. They're how you fix decades of bad deals and global freeloading. Trump isn't backing down, and honestly, he shouldn't.
You know, it's Monday where we do the week ahead and what people should expect in the market and kind of, you know, things going on in the economy. What should people look out for this week?
This tariffs.
Again.
Yeah, it's back. Tariff nonsense, ridiculousness, turmoil, whatever you want to call it, is back. It's trying to tariff everybody again. Now it's by August the 1st, so that's all the market cares about. Market shook it off the last time.
Right, so we have tariffs until August the 1st, or it goes...
There's more threats of more onerous tariffs that expires. Now you extended it, and August 1st, if they don't make deals, all these countries are going to get slammed, and that's what the market's worried about. I was kind of worried about it when he said it last week, but it's kind of, you know, taco again, so to speak, but it's shaking it off right now. I hope it shakes it off. I hope it doesn't, you know, the market thinks that all these threats don't come to fruition, but you never know. It's Trump. You know, he's the most unpredictable person there. And then, other than that, that's why you see yields moving up right now.
Bond yields.
Bond yields are moving up. Yeah, that means that, you know, there's a bit, you know, there's lack of conviction, you know. And, you know, Bitcoin's going all-time high. So that tells me that there's a little, I don't know, there's a little interruption here on both sides. You know, on the bullish side for, like, you know, on our yields and on Bitcoin and stuff, and then, you know, somewhat bearish or volatile on the market because of the tariffs. That's all I would care about this week.
Okay.
Trump just made it clear, no more allies, only interests. His new tariffs on 14 countries hit hard, breaking the US's long-standing political game of trading favors for interests. Here's the list. Japan 25%, South Korea 25%, South Africa 30%, Laos and Myanmar hit a whopping 40%. No exceptions, no matter the product. And if anyone dares to retaliate, he's threatening to raise those tariffs even higher. The most ironic part? Even Japan and South Korea didn't escape. Trump's message is loud and clear. There are no allies, only interests. If you don't kneel, you'll take the hit. So why isn't Vietnam on the list? Well, Vietnam agreed to 25% tariffs while giving the US zero in return, unlike Cambodia or Thailand, which ended up as the bad examples. With this move, Trump's sending a clear signal to the world. If you're compliant, you get rewards. If you resist, you get punished. This isn't just an economic war, it's a psychological one. But here's the thing, behind all the tough talk, there's some insecurity. First, despite his bold threats, Trump quietly extended the tariff deadline from July 9th to August 1st. This shows he's leaving room for negotiation. So if you want to get out of this, now's the time to talk. Second, right after these new tariffs, US Treasury Secretary shouted out to China, hoping to restart talks. But the reality? China hasn't budged, especially when it comes to rare earths. This has Trump on edge. Countries are catching on. No need to rush to give in. If China can stand strong, other nations won't either. The whole world is watching to see if China can push the US back and crush Trump's tariff plan. China crushing Trump's tariff plan isn't just about protecting its own interests, it's about driving global economic cooperation. More and more innovative Chinese products are making their way into global markets, especially in the booming health sector, offering sustainable, eco-friendly solutions that are quickly becoming consumer favorites. With China's products improving and expanding globally, the opportunities are endless. If you want to be part of this global shift and seize
Allow me to give my take on this. So the only country that can be able to resist the United States right now is China. And why is China? Because I've been observing how China moves, and I've realized that it's not a country of executive orders, it's a country of action. We get to know that China is doing something once it's completed. We just hear China has unveiled, but I've never heard something like China will do. Anyway, I always see things happening. So it's a country that is good at what they do. They have actions, and yeah, I think that the only way people can be able to resist, if you can show what you're capable of, that's the only way. We know that the world had believed so many lies about China coming from the United States, but now China is unveiling too much that people can't pretend that they are not seeing what China is doing. So it is not for the United States to tell if China can be trusted business-wise, and that's why they are gaining trust to their actions. We saw how they were able to combat the tariffs until they had to open their borders, and up to now there's a free visa. Like, you can get to China visa free for so many countries these days, and you can see they act. They take practical steps to solve problems. They don't just do mere words without action. So yeah. And as you speak right now, China has just signed a deal, an amazing deal with Australia. Check this.
Just in, Australia has signed massive deals with China. And let me tell you, the US is probably not going to be happy about these. And let me explain what they are one by one. So the first one is China will now start importing Australian apples again. For all of you that think that's not a big deal, let me tell you, that is a massive deal. That's a lot of fruit going to go from Australia to China, creating a lot of jobs. Number two, China and Australia will promote tourism as a cooperative method. So there will be more Chinese coming to Australia, more Australians going to China. Number three, there has been loads of subsectors and agreements, not only with fruit, but also with other industries. Number four, there's something called the paperless certification for agri-food exports, which means there's going to be more trust between the countries. And when they make deals with each other, they don't need physical documents. They'll be doing it digital. And the last one is they agreed to review the 2015 Free Trade Agreement, which is called the CHAFTA, which will include potentially green tech. And the next one is huge, AI and critical minerals. Now, why is this massive? Well, Australia and China haven't been this close since 2015. It's been more than 10 years. And let me tell you, it is great news for Australia because it will help the Australian economy quite a lot.